There are not many times that a person can find the word stewardship and agriculture in the same paragraph, let alone the same article. But they are more closely related than one might think. There are many people that are good stewards, but some of the overlooked stewards may just be the ones that we rely on the most. I'm talking about that old farmer that drives his tractor down the road and slows up traffic, or the rancher that receives ridicule for moving his cattle across the highway and making it dirty. Think what you want, but both the farmers and ranchers today are striving to do their part in maintaining our planet's natural resources and food supplies. One of the biggest issues concerning our nation's farmers and ranchers today is the fact that our climate isn't the same as it used to be. Severe droughts in some regions and too much rainfall in others has created quite the predicament for these hardworking Americans. Now, many people may argue that there's simply nothing we can do about this global warming and we should just leave it be, while others claim that we can slow the progression of this dangerous climate change by working to keep our planet clean. I would agree that we are in the driver's seat as to whether or not the climate works for us or works against us. And there's no greater need right now than to get this message out to the farmers and ranchers in rural America. It's a known fact that large farming operations use a lot of big equipment year-round. Tractors, sprayers, combines, all of these implements use fuel. Every year, thousands of tons of exhaust fumes are released into Earth's atmosphere, and in return, it destroys ozone. Ozone is what protects our planet from ultraviolet rays that cause radiation, and eventually that radiation causes this climate change. One way that farmers are cutting down on the fuel consumption is by the use of global positioning systems. When cultivating, for instance, the tractor is guided by a GPS unit, and this can save fuel, time, and seed. Another concern that plagues much of the country is the lack of good, fertile topsoil in which crops are grown. As the world's leading grain producer, the United States of America is running low on good soil. This is a direct result of poor farming techniques. But farmers of the present are fighting back, with many practicing no-till or minimum-till. This means that if there is no need to break up a field, the farmer doesn't do so. This prevents soil erosion and once again saves on time and fuel. Some farmers are putting their unneeded farmland into good use by planting new shelter belts to replace the old ones. These older shelter belts were planted by the Soil Conservation after the 30s to prevent any more topsoil loss. Any source of vegetation that can slow down the wind should be kept in order that the topsoil doesn't simply blow away. Now, these are good ideas for wind erosion, but what about water erosion? There are places that are farmable but are prone to gullies. These fields with steeper slopes can be saved usually by leaving the stubble or with the use of a good cover crop. Even manure that is spread on fields as a fertilizer can keep the soil in place. There are many things that are being done to prevent soil loss, but these are just a few of the most common ones. Ranching. Now, ranching also has its ways of providing stewardship. By cleaning up the manure out of the barnyards and feedlots, ranchers are keeping our groundwater clean of harmful pathogens and organic matter that can leak through the soil into underground reservoirs. If lakes or streams get contaminated, the problem can spread rather quickly, and it takes several years for a lake to cleanse itself from the contamination. Just by vaccinating livestock, the chance of disease spreading from one rancher's herd to another is greatly decreased. This transfer of viruses or parasites can come from being pastured close together in a way that the rancher's herd can interact with another's, or by being penned at sales barns. Vaccination may be done in order to keep one's own herd of livestock healthy, but it actually keeps a whole lot of herds healthy. The little things that are done by ranchers and overlooked by most can mean life or death in the livestock industry, and the good news is that more and more ranchers are vaccinating every year. As providers for this nation's food and resources, our friends on the farms and ranches can make a huge difference, not only for themselves, but for the millions of people that rely on them every day. I hope that this has brought about a newfound respect for the farmer on the road or the rancher moving his cattle. Thank you.